All right, everyone. We have a good one today. We are back to the topic of redistricting. It is happening all over the country, but here in Florida, it's even a bigger deal, a bigger story. Let's welcome our friend, my mentor, James Afant. Hey, Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I just want to
Excellent.
announce to everybody that last week I didn't feel too comfortable because I couldn't read the map. I hadn't been into the map, and I have not understand all the dynamics of the map.
Mhm.
But now that I have done that I'm going to start by asking the question to everybody: which is the largest political party and growth in the state of Florida in the last 5 years?
The NPAs.
Bingo! And this map, stupidly, did something that I'm going to say this. Look, Jason Pesada prepared this map. He prepared it. He went to the Florida Senate, and he stated under oath that his only consideration for this map was to make a map that favored the Republicans, which is going to have a problem with the amendment of 2010 that forbids any map that favors a political party, not the part of the minority. That part of the minority, I think, may or may not have been addressed by the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court was addressing something in Louisiana in which the voters had not made a mandate. It was the legislator. So I'm not sure if they would take the same position. Wait a minute. This is in the Florida Constitution. This is something that the voters passed. Uh, we might want to back that. But the one that was never discussed was, can a map just favor a political party? Texas tried to bullshit everybody by saying that was not the primary thing. Some people bought that. I didn't. But in our state, this young man who prepared the map was stupid enough to admit that that was his criteria. But why did I start with MPAs? Because this is where he does not understand politics.
Okay.
He's a great mathematician, and I will accept that. But those of us who do politics on a day to day basis, okay, you have 50% that are, let's say, Republicans, 42% Democrats, and you're looking at an 8% difference. But if that 8% is going to go, is MPAs, and they decide to go with the Republicans, that will give you 50-50. But most of these maps do not do that. Alana's map in Tampa, current Republican office holder in the Congress, who, yes, did say that if Trump puts boots on the ground, she would oppose that. Her new district has a 1% Republican. Any person who knows anything about politics will tell you 1% is a toss up, particularly in her district where 34% of the voters are NPAs. Okay? If half of those MPAs vote for a Democrat, she's out. Same thing with Maria Celeste in Miami. Hers is a 3%, but they moved her district and left very little of the Hispanic district that she's been serving for the last 12 years. It's mostly now white, and I hate to say it, in the area that is heavily Jewish. Okay, that would put her out of office. Let me break it down. Politics is not about blue and red anymore. It hasn't been that for the last, I would say, 5 elections. The MPAs put Donald Trump in office. The MPAs put Biden in office. The MPAs put Obama in office. And the MPAs put Bush in office. That's the last 26 years. And for the record, I'm not putting Bill Clinton before. Well, why not Bill Clinton? It's because a lot of you don't remember something, that how Bill Clinton won the election. Bill Clinton won the election because there was a person called Ross Perot who ran as an independent and got 18% of the vote in 1992. And that 18% was mostly Republicans who were fed up with George W. Bush. Okay? So, why do I bring that up? Is because people do not understand the power of the independent vote. Right now, the new districts average between 1% to 7%, 7% favoring Republicans. Most of the districts, because there was no way, he didn't think of this, apparently he didn't conceive of it, have more than 30% independence. We know by the real polls, not the ones that are paid, are invented by some group of the followers of Donald Trump, that the polls have said that right now independents are heavily going to vote against the Republican Party and for the Democrat Party. The only salvation that Florida would have here to end up the same, that this map be purely Republican like it was created, and there's a possibility, is a fuck up by the Florida Democratic Party. But a good qualified candidate run in Alma's district, which she has a 1% more Republicans than Democrats. If the candidate against her could get the independents to vote for him or her, she's out. The same thing with Maria Celeste. The same thing, to be quite honest, with the other districts that are around here. The only ones that I would say are solid is 1, 2, and 3. The others are toss-ups. All the other 25, they're toss-ups. As a matter of fact, I'll be blunt, where he's screwed up, also Pesante, is that the 4 districts that he put Democrats to keep them Democrats, they're 14 to 16% Democrats over Republicans. Those are safe. The others, I would say there's 7 districts in the state that are safe. There are 21 that are up in toss-ups. When you put districts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7% difference, those are toss-ups. When you have districts with those divisions and you have 30 to 41% NPAs, you have a problem, because the NPAs don't vote Republican. As a matter of fact, they fluctuate. If you really want to be honest, sometimes they vote Democrat, sometimes. So if this has worked, yeah, this will be my political strategy if you run as a Democrat. Simple. Don't work the Republicans, ignore them.
Right.
Assume that the Democrats are going to vote for you, and work the independents. Come up with a solution, not criticizing Trump. You can leave him out of this.
Right.
Basically say, hey, with all due respect, the price of gasoline is almost at $4. I mean, it's almost $5. The cost of your food has gone up. The cost of your clothing has gone up. The cost of the restaurant's food has gone up. Everything has gone up. Don't trust the fake people who tell you that inflation is less than 2%. That's the biggest lie in my life. And by the
Come
way,
on, Jimmy. Come on.
that company is owned by China, by a Chinese company.
I
Oh,
don't know,
Google it.
Jimmy.
Yes, Google it. It will tell you.
Okay,
owned
I'll
by
Google it.
China.
I went to their about page, but we'll get to that later. We'll get to
And
that
by
later.
the way, that's the same company that Donald Trump is an owner. That puts me in a conflict of interest.
Oh,
Yeah, Truth
that's not
Media,
good.
he's a part owner.
Oh, I gotta look at that.
Oh yeah. What is True Social? It's part of True social is part of true everything else. It's the same Stan Russ, same. And when you ask them who are their economists who prepare it, they don't mention anybody. But that's a story
Mhm.
for another day. Uh, the thing that you have to do is trust these eyes. Is the cost of gasoline up? Is the cost of food up? Is the cost of everything that you are buying right now up? Is the effect that everything is rising? Is the economy in the toilet? That's the campaign that Democrats need to ride. Uh, do you agree with the war? Not really. Most people don't. Do you think the war has been something that has protected us, made our country safer, or made our country more vulnerable? That's the campaign that Democrats should have between now and November. Don't criticize Donald Trump. Let him screw himself up. He does a very good job of that. He will say things. As a matter of fact, ever since March 1st, the war is going to be over in the next week, and that's been almost 75 days ago. And it's not over, and it's not close to being over, and the things are not that way. He sent a one piece of paper saying, "Hey, let's do this." And by the way, for those of you who do not know this, he's basically looking for a similar agreement that Obama had, that they could continue enriching uh, uranium as long as an international commission checked them out and established that this was used for energy and not for nuclear weapons. That's what they're seeking right now, for those of you who don't know. And by the way, what a unique thing. Last week, I said, would you agree to a temporary solution where they open both ways the Strait of Hamas? Well, everybody said, no, no, no. Well, Donald Trump suggested it yesterday. So, for those of you who do not know, he, as a temporary thing, yeah, let's open it completely and we'll discuss everything later. Uh, look, the truth of the matter is, this map would, in my opinion, could end up with 21 Republicans and 7 Democrats, which would be more or less a wash up of what we had before. You cannot mathematically, you cannot mathematically create 24 districts, which, in order to be safe, have to have a minimum of 12% Republicans over Democrats. You can't do that in Florida. Mathematically, it's impossible. It's kind of unique how this kid thinks that 1% difference is good enough. I was like, am I reading this right? Yes, it's 1%. Am I reading this right? Yes, it's 3%. Nobody would think that a 3% is a safe district, either Democrat or Republican. Nobody would believe that. But
You
if
have
you
to
go
work
and
at it.
take your time, you're going to find out that that's what these maps say. But here's the most interesting thing about this. This might be the thing that ends, well, this and other things might end DeSantis' career. If not, if not that, and let me make another prediction for all of you. Byron Thompson is going to have a scandal that's going to break in the next 10 days, and it's coming from the DeSantis campaign. They will deny it.
Whoa,
They will deny it, but it's coming from them.
really?
Yes. Oh, yes. Look, don't mean to be disrespectful, but most of these Trump people, just like DeSantis, are so corrupt that it's going to be interesting because we all know the whole campaign and the $10 million that was given to the governor for the settlement of a Medicaid claim. Um, that has been documented, proven, and everything. The promise that he appointed the attorney general, and the attorney general decided not to investigate. That's the history for another day. So yeah, this redistricting, I would. The best thing that Republicans can do is pray that the court turn it down, because if it goes to election, and and it ends up 21-7, or for that matter, even like I really think it's going to be 19-9.
Hmm.
If that ends up being the case, that will be DeSantis' career because he's put all his political future on this map. Let's stop pretending that he hasn't. He's put all his, he's going to go and campaign for president. Look what I did in Florida, and that would be horrible. The question that I have, and this is just for a toss-up, what would happen if a strong independent ran and was able to safer votes out of Democrats and Republicans and push it off and pull it off?
I think you'll have a Republican winning the governor's seat if a strong independent came and ran and won their primary because there's other NPAs who have filed. And I think it would draw some votes away from the Democrats.
Oh, and it would draw a lot of folks away from the Republicans. The Republicans are divided too. I mean,
True. Yes.
the
Right.
Democrats are disorganized and the Republicans are divided. I mean, you have the
Mhm.
Collins campaign, you have the Thompson campaign, and basically
Donald's. Donald's.
Donald's. Yeah. And by the way, it will be interesting. What would happen? Let's say that Collins wins and Donald Trump decides not to endorse him. See,
And
there's a
this,
lot. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things here that, particularly if he gets pissed off that he finds out that the DeSantis group, including Collins, was the one who killed his candidate. But that's a story for another day.
it's a lot of hypotheticals. There's so much to talk about, Jimmy. First, with Donald's, let's take Donald's, the presumptive Republican nominee. Um, what would DeSantis end game be if he thwarted the campaign of Trump's favorite son in this race? What would be the end game? And you would think DeSantis leaving office, he's termed out at the end of 2026. You would think that DeSantis would like to go out on a positive note, meaning that MAGA is still strong. Trump is still strong with the MAGA contingency, which is, for the most part, your most vocal and solid base for the Republicans. A base that DeSantis has been moving more and more and more closer to. So if he were behind thwarting Donald's, Trump's chosen successor here in Florida, wouldn't that be political suicide for DeSantis? Particularly, he's leaving office in January. There's 2 years for him to campaign for the presidency in 2028. I'm sure he will love to be, and it is known that he has been actively, or his supporters have been actively pushing for him to join Trump's cabinet. There is a vacancy at this moment, a permanent vacancy at this moment for the DOJ, the Attorney General. So my question is again, wouldn't that be political suicide for DeSantis if it was learned that this possible, action against the Donald's campaign was came from his camp?
Okay, let's be clarified. You're pointing from a premise that's interesting, but to me makes no sense.
Hmm.
If Donald Trump controls the Republican Party past 2028, which there's a possibility, I'll give you
Yeah,
that one. There is a
yeah,
possibility. It all depends how far this war goes and the cost of living, because some of the MAGA people are against foreign wars, and that's a well-known and documented fact.
yeah.
Uh, so depending on how that goes, uh, and if he gets involved in Cuba and another war, that it all depends. But right now, there's no way. Right now, today, let's talk today, that if he's going to go, he's thinking as his successors, 3 people. 1, Rubio. 2, Vance. 3, Donald Jr.
No, 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 no. No,
Okay.
I can't see
No,
that.
no,
I can't see
no,
Donald
no. He's that cocky. I'm sorry. He is
Trump.
that cocky. He believes that if he say this is the guy, that's it. And to a certain extent, if we're going to be honest, you're saying, well, if he says that to DeSantis, then DeSantis is. But if he says it of his son, MAGA's not going to follow that. There, I disagree. DeSantis ran against Donald Trump in 2024, which is
That is
something that
true.
to this day, Donald Trump has not forgiven him for.
Uh,
Uh, oh, no. Donald Trump
I
is a
think
very
that's
resentful person. He is not a forgiving person. Bullshit. He has a lot of faults, but he's not a forgiving person. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know that. I don't think that's true. I
Oh
think
no, that's very true. No,
he's
no, they're very true. Tell me one person that has double crossed or going against Donald Trump that he's forgiven.
Marco Rubio.
No. There's a big difference. Marco Rubio campaigned against him, and as a U.S. senator, backed him 100%. Okay, kissed his ass to no more avail, and that is the only reason why Jenny Vance is the vice president and not Marco, for the record.
Okay.
So,
I was going to add JD to that list also. He had some
well,
strong
no.
words
And
about
to
Trump.
me, those are the 3 ones. I've never seen, as a matter of fact, in the last 2 years, I've never seen Donald Trump compliment DeSantis. It hasn't come out of his mouth. He hasn't. No, he hasn't. He hasn't condemned him, but he hasn't say, hey, he's doing a great job. Right now, what he's looking for is to put Collins and the Attorney General in position for completely different reasons. 1, he needs to control Florida. And 2, if a different Attorney General comes into office and is presented with the evidence of the Hope situation, and that person has any type of integrity, he would have to investigate that and probably prosecute it. If this Attorney General stays, the one that he appointed and
Right.
who's running for re-election right now,
Alzheimer.
Alzheimer, and he has Collins as his boy, he could go free for the next 2 or 3 or 4 years, and no, he's not going to be prosecuted. He is concerned, and this is a legit concern that I don't think you understand. You're looking at it from a perspective that they're selling you because that's the way they like to sell this BS. The truth is, I'm going to ask you a question to reverse. If Donald Thompson becomes the governor of the state and is presented with the evidence that DeSantis did what he did with the Hope money, would Thompson go against DeSantis and prosecute him? The answer to that is yes. There's no law
Yes,
lost.
by law.
Well, no, because the Attorney General has to right now, and he's bullshit. Don't get me started with this office. He's as corrupt comes. He knows about it. He's been presented with the evidence, and he's never filed or lift a finger to file. But DeSantis knows that Donald will,
Donald.
because he does not like Ron DeSantis, and he would have no problem making sure that he's never a candidate for president by filing criminal charges against him. There is where DeSantis is coming from. He needs to destroy Thompson before Thompson destroys him. Simple politics. It has nothing to do with him running. It has nothing to do with his good grades. It has nothing to do how this sort of look. He's not DeSantis unless he's a moron, which he is not that smart. I understand before you say, well, he's really not that smart. I understand that. If he knows he's not in the top 4 tiers of Donald Trump's candidates, he's probably going to endorse either Rubio or Vance, and that's it. and
Mhm.
Ron DeSantis will have no chance. Let me ask you this question in a different way. If Donald Trump says in 2028, J.D. Vance, this is my guy, what chances does DeSantis have of anything? None.
Oh, he'll have a very slim chance. I agree with that. I would. I definitely would agree with that. Particularly if things are going well for the administration. I would think that
Well, that one is virtually impossible because right now,
hypothetical,
I,
hypothetical.
I appreciate that you put me in my next segment.
Ah,
Thank you. Chief of Staff, Chief of
Su-
Staff, White House. This is
Susie
Wallace.
Wells. Yeah.
She sent out a memo to all the senior staff in the White House, which basically summarizes be prepared because there's a good chance that the Republican Party will lose control of the House and even probably of the Senate. And if that occurs, anything and everything that you are preparing at this time can be subject to subpoenas by the House and the Senate. So don't be as cocky as you've been up to now, where the House doesn't do its job and the Senate has not done its job. It doesn't care what you're doing, doesn't care what you're writing, doesn't care anything. Is not going to happen. Stop being sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Look, it's
Shouldn't be
coming
in the
from her,
first place. Yeah.
and she's savvy about politics. She is not a MAGA fan who buys all the bullshit. She doesn't buy the bullshit. She knows about all the lies and all the misinformation. That's fine. What she's trying to do is protect her staff because if they continue writing what they're doing and doing what they're writing and all that stuff, and come January, the House and the Senate start subpoenaing those records, they're going to be in deep doo doo. So what she's saying is from here on, you can think it, but don't put it in writing.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason she's doing that is because she knows that the House is gone. She knows that the Senate could be gone.
Okay.
She knows that, and look, there's no way. I like the way that Rick Scott put this the other day. He understands that the price of gasoline might affect the election. No, 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 no. It's not going to affect it. It's going to control it. You're talking about people in this country that only 36% of people buy the bullshit that this war was necessary. There's no proof that it was, but I'll accept that there's. And by the way, that's less than MAGA. That's why I keep saying that there's a 5 or 6% of MAGA who are against wars, especially foreign wars, and who are not exactly friends of Israel. Let's clarify
Oh.
that one too.
Right. Right. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
the fact that we're fighting with Israel and that some of them, like the guy who quit, who said, "I'm quitting because Israel's got us into this war," there's a lot of MAGA people who believe that. Okay, and the guy who quit was MAGA, so don't throw rude on him. He was MAGA. The truth is that she's starting to realize that there
Mhm.
is a excellent chance that the House is gone, particularly when you have 41 state Congress people who have quit. You have a lot of Congress people, even in the state of Florida, who are going to be running in new districts that may not favor them as the previous ones did. Uh, that's the second thing. But the thing that I find the most interesting is when she said, "Be prepared and stop doing the things you've been doing in the past because you can be subpoenaed."
Right.
What would they do in the past that she should be concerned about? I don't know.
Well,
I'm not saying, but
well, the Democrats have stated publicly that they will subpoena everything and everyone once
and
they
they
get
said the
into power.
Republicans did that with Biden too. It's
Exactly. So it's
so,
tit for tat, actually.
or what they like they say back home, what goes around comes around. I understand.
Exactly.
The
Hmm.
problem is that you say don't do it. Okay, it's like we have something to hide because if we don't something to hide, don't you could do it. Uh, but I respect her political opinion. She does not buy truth, all this truth people. She does not buy She's was never a fan of Tucker Carlson, of Hannity. She's never been a fan of any. She likes Fox News, but that's it. She's not that fan of News Nation because she knows that News Nation, when you tend to oversell something, it backfires, and that's the problem with News Nation. Uh, but she sent that out, and that surprises me because when asked, the White House said, yeah, she did that. So it's not like, oh, this is a rumor. Uh, Levitt was asked, and she said yes. She's the chief of staff, and she sent that out. And yes, I received that memo, and I know what it means, and we're all going to abide by it. Look, if that's not an admission that the House is gone, this is what is the truth is. Truth is, gas is going to be high for the rest of the year because even if we open the Strait of Hormuz next week, it's going to take 2 to 3 months for everything to stabilize. To get the levels of gasoline and everything there and everything. And then there's going to be the question of what we always go, once prices go up and they realize that people can pay $5, are they going to go back to $2.99 or are they going to go back to $3.99? And if they go to $3.99, how will the people react to that? Wait a minute, the war's over and still gasoline is expensive. Yes. Right now, it's kind of interesting because I got my bill from Orlando Utilities and I have what is called a few adjustments.
Oh boy.
So this is what is going to cause. What can they say? Well, we gave a tax break that got you $300 back. The rest of the time, we haven't gotten you anything. And by the way, you got $300 back from your taxes, and you spend that in 2 weeks on gas. So and on food. So you have really not there. Right now, I would have to say these negotiations between Iran and the U.S. is not as simple as Donald Trump thinks. It really isn't. It's going to take some time and some other issues. You have to understand one thing that I've understand the people from Pakistan said, and we don't listen. And this was interesting. The biggest part of the difficulty of negotiating peace between U.S. and Iran is that nobody trusts them. Nobody trusts their word at all. And what is sad is that we were thrown in the same boat with Iran. But if you ask most countries, they don't trust our word anymore. And that's something of a consequence that we have to be able to live with and deal with at a long play. So, and if he's going to think, well, these 5 things so we can start negotiating the rest, there's a lot of other issues here that are going to, and part of it is guarantee that they're not going to be invaded again. Look, there was the guy from Pakistan who said this, which is interesting because when they asked him, well, what is one of the biggest delays? He says, look, we were here the day before the U.S. invaded Iran discussing peace and what can be done to keep peace between the two countries. And Iran left say, we cannot trust the U.S. They lied to us. And yes, I understand. There's a distrust on both sides. Okay. And that is not a good for negotiation. So when he keeps telling us in the next week and 10 days, they're anxious to get peace, they have agreed to this and they have agreed to that, and then we find out that that's bullshit. The thing that I'm going to take a Republican line, I'm going to take a MAGA line. Don't trust what you read. And through inflation, what you read and the other things that tell you what the inflation is. Walk into your gas station and you're paying almost $5 for gasoline. Oh, well, wait a minute. It's only $4.59. Really? You want to argue over 41 cents? And by the way, it was $4.33 last week. It's gone up. And the way it's going to keep up going. So, yeah, by the time you probably hear this, it's going to be $5 a gallon. You're going to that? Okay. What caused it? You can't blame Biden on that one. For Pete's sake, all this bullshit. No, that's Biden's fault. No, it isn't. It's a war. And
Right.
who started the war? He did. Did he think of the consequences? No. Did he think it through? No. He was told by Netanyahu, go in 5 or 6 days they'll surrender, and you'll be a hero. Well, he went in, and they didn't surrender. And by the way, for those of you who, I have one question. Did you see this week Iran throwing out some missiles towards the U.S.? Some
They bombed the UAE. UAE retaliated.
I I, I,
Um,
I thought we took them out. I thought they didn't have anything.
oh no, they still have their missiles. They still have their missiles.
And they
They-
still have their drones and they still have their problems. And basically, at this point, nobody trusts going through the stretch, because even though the U.S. was trying them with freedom, which, by the way, Operation Freedom lasted one day, for those of
That's
you who
right.
do not know.
Mhm.
One day.
Yeah.
That's the problem with sometimes when you do things like this. Trust me, we're going to do this. I changed my mind. No, we're not. That's why some people don't. When people from there say, "No, we don't trust you to keep your word," that's kind of bad for us. But I'm going to use the Republican MAGA thing. Trust your eyes. Don't trust what true inflation tells you. If you don't want to trust what the government tells you, I don't care. If you don't want to trust the inflation things that comes out of, I think it's Princeton, that's fine with me. Trust your eyes.
Right.
Is
Jimmy.
life cheaper? No.
No,
Who promised
definitely
you
not.
that
No.
who promised you that he will make life cheaper for you? It
Oh,
wasn't Biden.
there was no doubt. It was Trump.
And has he kept his word? No.
No, based on today.
And
Uh,
based on today, and the
mhm.
problem is that this is not going to go away in 10 days. Even if they reach an agreement,
Agree.
it's not going to go. It's going to take months. And the problem is, I don't see this. Look, this is my problem. From day one, we obliterate them, we're taking them out, they don't exist, blah, 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 and they already surrender, and we have won, and in 10 days, everything's going to go back to normal. That's 75 days ago. Excuse me, correctly, 76, before somebody says, no, you can't add. Yeah, 76 days ago. And he
Mhm.
keeps saying that in next week it's going to be over. And next week comes, and it's not over. And if anything, prices of gas continue climbing. Look, the truth of the matter is, how much longer is the American public going to back him on this? He only has 36% of the population. The majority of people don't. As a matter of fact, he's no longer, and listen to him, not to me, listen to him, he's no longer making an issue out of the uranium.
Oh, it's still on the table.
No, no, no.
Oh, it's
It's
still
still
on
on
the
the
table
no,
for
no, no.
this.
It's
No,
still on
it's
the
still on the
table.
table.
It's
It
bullshit.
is.
It's still
No, it's
he's
still
not
on the
mentioned
table,
it.
Jimmy.
And
It's
in the one page, what he's
it's still on the
proposing,
table.
he's proposing is a similar agreement to Obama. He
Mhm.
realizes that they're not going to hand it over. That's not going to happen.
No, I'll have to disagree with that. I strongly believe it's a condition that the president is not moving away from,
Oh,
as he should not. Um,
with all due
however,
respect,
yeah,
he needs peace. And if he has to move away from it to get peace, he will do it in a heartbeat. Plus, it's
we'll
not going to
never
happen.
have we'll never have peace if Iran has the capability and no deterrent to build a bomb.
With all due
There'll never be
respect to you,
there'll never be
we,
peace.
we had peace for the last 47 years. They
Mhm.
did some crazy things in the Middle East,
They
but there was
killed
no.
Americans, Jimmy.
And
They
so
they
did the
they
Saudi Arabians, and so did Kuwait, and so did
but
the ISIS, and so did
but not
Syria,
on the
and so
scale,
did
but not
Iraq.
on the yeah, under the auspices of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
No,
I
they
mean,
didn't.
yes, Jimmy, and the
Oh,
mullahs.
tell your people to learn their history, because the Muslims are divided. The people from Iraq and Iran fight because they're not the same denomination of Muslims. They don't get along with the people from United Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia because they're not the same denomination. They don't get along. ISIS, ISIS didn't get along with anybody. Period. They said that they were all infidels. So, and they killed many Americans in the Iraq area and in the other areas. If you're going to put them all together,
Oh, I'm not. No.
you can.
I'll
But if you put them all
use Hamas.
together,
I'll stick with Hamas and Hezbollah. I'll stick with them.
okay. And I'm not going to say they haven't killed people. Yes, and that there were Americans of Jewish descendants that they killed in that war. I'm not going to deny that. But that's a war that's been going on between the Muslim countries since the foundation of Israel some 50 years ago. Yes. And by the way, it's not only Iran the one that it has put Israel in danger. There's others that, but be that as it may, it's not going to happen. We don't have the manpower to go in there and take out the uranium. We just don't. And we don't have the stomach to do that.
I think
And we don't, and the American public is not willing to sacrifice 20,000 lives to do that.
But are they willing to pay $5 a
No, they're
gallon
not.
for gas? Wait. Let me finish. Are they willing to pay $5 a gallon of gas for a per gallon of gas now for $2 per gallon of gas a year from now?
Well, that depends. How are you going to get it down to $2?
Well, even you said that this war is not going to go on forever. We know that it's
Yeah,
just
but
not.
with all due
There's gonna be
respect,
some stabilization. We know that.
yeah, but it's not going to
And
go down
so
to
and so
$2. It was $2.99 when the war started.
right. Well, yeah, I'm just throwing out that number. I'm just saying from the high that it is now to a near low that it was before the war. Are Americans willing to pay 4.59 now or 2.99 a year from now, 8 months from now?
Okay, I'm going to answer that question to you in a very categorical way. The U.S. people first live today. They don't trust their government to do anything that will reduce the price of gasoline. MAGA doesn't trust the government. Nobody trusts the government. So basically, you're parting from a premise that, pardon my honesty, I don't understand. There's, do the people of this country believe that if Donald Trump tells them, "Hey, pay now $5, and next year it will be $2.99," that the majority of the Americans are going to buy that? My answer to that will be no. They
So if
won't.
they don't trust their government, Jimmy, we're talking about Republicans, Independents, and Democrats, and everyone across the spectrum. Why vote at all? You're not giving a reason for Democrats to vote. You're not giving a reason for Republicans. I mean, Independents to vote if they don't trust their government so much.
No, no, no. Let me tell you what. When I say their government, I'm talking to the one right now. Look, only somebody who is on drugs or self-illusional believes that Donald Trump doesn't lie.
Oh,
That
he
everything
lied.
that comes out of his mouth is the truth. He's probably the most lying politician I've ever met in my life. So when you say to people that Donald Trump today is going to tell the people of the United States, "Hey, pay $5 now, and next year you're going to pay $2.99," will the people of this country believe him? No.
Right?
And he's the government now. I'm not talking about future governments or
Right.
past governments. When you say, will the American people be willing to do, who's going to tell them there's going to be $2.99 later? Donald Trump. Why?
Right.
Because he's
Donald
the
Trump.
current president. Would
Yeah.
they trust him if he says this? No. Why? Because he's lied to them so much about this that
Hmm.
they've lost trust in him. This is the problem that I don't think people realize. People don't trust him anymore. Why? Because he has lied to them. He told them that he was going to go in there and he was going to bombard the shit out of them and that everything was going to be fine in 5 or 6 days, and this would not affect the price of gasoline. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Okay? He's been telling them for the last 76 days that in 4 days, 5 days, this war is going to be over. Bullshit, bullshit. He's been telling them that the Iraqi people are willing, crazy to do a deal. And today, and we're recording this, the answer was Operation Trust Me Bro is not working. Basically, what they're trying to say is he's saying, hey, this is my offer, accept it. They're saying, we don't trust your word. Okay, fine. 36% of the people in this country, who I would have to say are all MAGAs, because I can't think of anything else, trust Donald Trump. The rest of this country don't. Okay? They don't. And that is where we have a problem. So if you're going to ask me the question, hey, with the American public set to pay $5 now, and next year they're going to pay $2.99, the only person who can make that promise is Donald J. Trump. Would the American people trust that promise? No. Look,
Jimmy, let me clarify. I'm not saying that Donald Trump would promise this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, and this was my question: if Americans, if Americans have an opportunity to pay $2.99 a year from now, 8 months from now, would they be willing to pay $5 or $4.59 now?
why? How does
Why?
that benefit their pocket? Look,
Okay, well,
I hate to say this. American people don't care about wars as much as some people do. It's
right,
all about the economy. Okay, you're going
right.
to tell them, hey, you're going to be paying $5 for the next year, and at the end, you're going to go back to what you were last year at $2.99. What did I get in exchange? Nothing.
Which goes back to what I really want to say is, given that premise, given that hypothetical, Jimmy, and understanding what's at stake for this president, for this administration, and the path that they're taking, it's May 8th. Or is it May 8th? It's May
May
7th.
7th.
May 7th, Thursday, May 7th. We are 3 months away here in Florida from the August primaries. And then, of course, we go into the regular general election cycle. So we're about maybe 4 months. In 4 months, Jimmy, anything can change in this world. And we've seen that. On February 28th, everything was fine. On February 27th, everything was fine. February 28th, we've got epic fury happening. So we understand that things can happen at any time. So in those months preceding in front of us now, anything can happen. So there is that possibility. And I'm not going to put a statistic on it or whatever, a percentage on it or whatever, that things can improve. My question is this what the liberals and the Democrats have to run on?
No, no. Look, there's so many things that they could run on, but let me ask you the reverse of this, because you're thinking of it the wrong way. You're Republican. Hey,
No.
no. Wait a minute.
Oh, not me, but
Okay.
the hypothetical,
Okay.
right?
You're Republican. Vote for me. The price of gasoline is skyrocketing. We're in a war that of choice. There was no real threat that we needed to be in that war at all, other than Netanyahu taking our president for a fool. Right now the economy is in the tank. Things are going really bad. But vote for me, because I promise you that next year things are going to be better. What do the Republicans have to run on? You think like, oh, what are the Democrats going to run on? Bullshit. That's the bullshit that some people are putting out. What can a Republican run on? The big bill, beautiful bill that helped the rich. It fucked the middle class. Okay, it really did. You got $300 back from your taxes. Whoopee! I spent that in 2 weeks on gasoline. Okay, the economy is better. No, it's not. We are safer. Hell no, we're not. We're just as safe as we were the last time around. There's nothing that's made us any safer. Uh, Everything is going well. What is going well? Because the perception of the majority of American people is that things are not going well. So what can a Republican run on? Oh, we're going to take away the uranium of Iran, and that's going to make us safer. Oh, bullshit! American people don't care about that. I'm sorry, they don't. They really don't. There's maybe 10 or 15% that believes that. The rest of the American people don't. They care about their pockets. And the Republican Party right now is fucked. Very simple. I made it very simple. Trust your eyes. The economy is bad. That's why Donald Trump ran the last time, saying that the economy was bad and that he was going to fix it. Well, did he fix it? No. Did he make it worse? Yes. Okay. Are you safer now that you were before? No. Do you realize that the weapons that we use to protect ourselves, we wasted in the Middle East, and now that's why he's asking for more money to replenish those weapons? Oh, I did not know that. The economy is going to go even deeper in the tank because we're going to. This is the thing that I hate about Republicans and their bullshit. They're asking for trillions of dollars for defense, which would throw the deficit off the roof. So that's another thing that you go around. The deficit is going off the. And when the deficit goes off the roof, inflation goes up. No ifs or two questions about it. And that's a Republican campaign for the last 25 years. So basically, they need to run on, hey, the economy is bad. These people made it bad. Give me a chance to fix it. Your country's unsafe. They made it bad. Give me a chance. And the last thing I would run on, this country is corrupt. DeSantis took $10 million and is proven from a Medicaid refund and put it in his personal pocket. The Attorney General of this state was appointed by him and appointed by the Florida Senate, and he was not elected to this position, and he has not investigated this as the way it should be. Right now, you have had the Department of Justice doing corrupt things, putting somebody in jail because he put in shells 8647. Wow. How would the Republicans be talking if we had put Patel in jail simply because he was drunk? They would say, that's wrong, that's wrong. Okay, people, we need to step back. Look, I've been saying this. The Republicans are saying, give me a silver platter. Here, Democrats, run on it. Everything that we're doing wrong, run on it. Donald Trump won because the economy was bad. Well, guess what? It's worse. So am I going to continue voting for the Republicans, who basically are the ones who control the House, the Senate, and the presidency? But they're going to promise me that their fuck-ups they're going to make better? I hate to say this. That's why Democrats lost, because they backed Biden to the tip. They knew that he was wrong.
Ride or die.
Well, but that's what the Republicans are doing right now. They're not doing anything different. Ride or die. Because those who dissent are punished. Okay? This is the truth of the matter. It's about the economy, stupid. And if you think that the Republicans can have a higher level on the economy right now, they don't. Do you think that Joe Blow is going to buy the true inflation bullshit of a company owned by China and by Stan Ross, saying that we're not going to tell you which economists prepare our numbers, nor which are the sources, nor the methodology that we use to create this. But when Biden was in power, it was 5%, and now that Donald Trump is in power, it's less than 2%. Bullshit. Do you think the American people are going to buy that? No, because they know that inflation is high. And by the way, you can appoint a new chair, but the other 10 are going to vote against reducing the interest rate. Even if you reduce the interest rate, that's what the rich people pay for their loans. That's not going to put a penny in your pocket, assholes. So let's call it as it is. Right now, it's the reverse. We fucked up in 2024. We had nothing to show 4. We were running on the promise, hey, Kamala's going to do it better than Biden, even though he fucked up. Right now, you don't even have J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio running. It's right now, is the economy bad? And by the way, the economy does not fix itself in 10 days. Just for those of you, it does not fix itself in 90 days. It's going to take a long time. And I'm going to make a prediction that is going to surprise you. Come July 4th, the war in Iran is still around.
Okay.
And look at this. I'm predicting not 10 months away. I'm predicting 57 days away. Today's the 7th of May.
Yeah.
Okay. So for those of you, well, wait a minute. You tell me that this war cannot be ended in 57 days? No. Look, the advantage that the Iranian people have over us that we don't want to mention this, and that's why the German counselor said what he said, and you have to understand what he's saying. The longer that Iran continues this on, the more it's going to screw up the U.S. economy. The more it screws up the U.S. economy, the worse position Donald Trump is in, and it's going to force his hand to reach a settlement that might not be in his best interest. They know that. Oh, but the economy has struggled. The economy has been struggling for the last some years. They do not want to cave in. Would they like to be more democratic? Yes. Would they like to be more in affine with the United States? No. Democrat? Yes. U.S.? No. So the truth of the matter is that, look at my prediction, and if the war has not been over by July 4th, and it takes the economy to straighten out 120 to 200 days after you start everything going back to normal, you're talking that come November of 2026, gasoline is $5 and $6 a gallon, and I don't see the Republicans having one fucking hope to win an election. There is no way.
Are you and with the redistricting of maps based on the Louisiana versus Callis decision by SCOTUS, do you still stick to your earlier proclamation this spring that the Democrats will have, I think, upwards of 20 seats? And then,
oh yeah, and let me tell you why.
Okay.
If you think that Florida is the only state who fucked up in the redistricting, Texas did the same. Texas has seats at 4 and 4.5% Republican advantage. As a matter of fact, there's a good chance, if the numbers continue between now and November, that between Cohen and the other guy and Patton or whatever his name is in Texas, they're going to end up crucifying themselves.
Paxton, yeah.
And Talifico gets elected. And if he gets elected, he gets elected for 6 years. Let's get this clear.
Yeah.
So when people think that they've done a great job, Texas has done a horrible job too. Okay? They were thinking, well, 4, 5, 6 is a safe district. I'm going to ask you this question in a very simple way. Somebody comes to you and say, hey, I want you to run my campaign. I'm going to run for U.S. Congress. Okay, which district? This one. But that's 4% Republican. Do you think that's a winnable district? Yes or no? For a Democrat?
For a Democrat, 4%? With qualifiers, yes. With qualifiers, yes.
Oh, it is winnable. And with qualifiers, if the Republicans don't come up with a crazy candidate, which in the past I have too.
That's a qualifier, yes.
That's a qualifier, yes. Herschel Walker, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking in Georgia. Well, no, Donald Trump backed him. Yes.
That was so weird.
Yes. And by the way, he lost to a black man too. So just in fairness.
The Reverend Warnock, yes.
Yes. I've always liked to joke that my prediction in Georgia is that one of the next U.S. senator for the great state of Georgia was going to be black, and everybody looked at him. But they're both black. Well, it's the safe way.
Everything is straight. Wow. Well, wait a second. It just hit me, Jimmy. Okay, you got me there.
So
I needed
people,
that laugh.
and there, and let me tell you this: you have to understand one thing, and I can tell you as an Hispanic, the Hispanic vote that put Donald Trump in office is no longer there, and not all of the African American vote that put him in office is there either. The Democrats would qualifying what you say a good candidate in a 4 or 5 or 6% district could win. 4 or 5% district is not a safe district. Let me start by
Right.
saying that it's not a safe district. For it to be safe, it has to be over 12, in my opinion. Really?
Jimmy, can I touch on this? And am I punching down on the Democrats when I say this? No, because it's very evident. On Pod Save America, I think I may have brought this up last time. Yes, I did, because I did mention Pod Save America. We spoke about them in the past. The leading liberal political podcast, Kim Martin, was interviewed, and it was made very clear that they're in debt. The DNC is in debt. They owe about what 100, upwards of north of $100 million. Ken Martin's like, oh, we can always delay the payments. Well, if I'm a contractor, if I'm a vendor for the Democrats, and I hear that, oh, we're done. But the Republicans, on the flip side, they have $182 million in the green, in the positive, over the DNC. So there's a funding issue. And then, to make it worse, here for Florida, we have our fundraising issues. We have our organizational issues. And I learned late last week that the Florida Democratic Party treasurer, the treasurer who's responsible for the finances, is running for office for Orange County Commissioner District 2. I guess the party, the fundraising is not a priority when you have your treasurer running for office and not focus on the party in general in the state. And we do know that there are Democrats who are hurting for money, and typically it comes very late. This hampers their competitiveness in these newly drawn districts.
No,
No, really?
no,
Come on, Jimmy. We could. I mean, unless Maxwell Frost is funding all of these Democrats, particularly,
no. Let me
and
clarify something.
we do
Let me
know
clarify something to you.
we do
Why I
know they're
say
tapping
no.
him. They're tapping him for finances. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about
Let me tell you why I say no.
that. Okay.
Uh, Let me clarify two things that you do not understand. Florida Democratic Party funds nobody,
Uh-oh.
and it never has. House Victory finances the candidates raises the funds for the candidates who run for House Representatives in state of Florida. Senate Victory does that. And for the record, if you're running for Congress in Florida or in any state of the United States, it falls under the C, D, and C, which is not the National Party. It's a completely separate funding issue, and the money is there. There's where Darren gets his money. There's where Frost gets his money. There's where all the people from South Florida get their money. It really comes from an independent thing. But this is the truth also. Uh, all the overfunded campaigns lose. As a matter of fact, you gave an example. The one in Georgia, Herschel Walker had more money than.
Yeah, that was bad. You just had a really bad candidate, Jimmy. I mean, you
Well,
can
and
have
I
all
hate
the
to
money
say
in
this,
all the
and I hate
money
to
in
say
the
this,
world.
you're going to have some bad candidates here in Florida on both sides. So basically, what is not equal is, but here's the thing: independents are not being influenced by money. The days that you can go out and convince people to vote away because of this. Let me put it this way. Most people don't watch TV anymore. Most
That's
people
true.
stream.
That's correct.
So if you're going to say, hey, let me buy in the market ads, you can, but less and less people are seeing it.
Going to a black
Okay.
hole.
You go on the stream, most people, as soon as they see an ad, it's gone. Okay.
Skip it.
Uh, Now, if you if you're pissed off with the Republicans, you're gonna vote Democrat. If you're pissed off with your party, you're gonna stay home. You're not gonna vote for the other party. I agree. Right now, I started this segment with the way I would do it. Okay, give you the same example we do here in primaries. Do I go into the general elected people and campaign for a primary? No. I go to the super voters because in primaries we know that in every county in the state, Republicans and Democrats, it's an average of 19 to 20%. Those are the people you target. The rest of the people. So with little money, you could be effective. Uh, right now in Orange County, our county, every candidate that was overfunded lost. Now I have $10 to each one of yours. Fine. And when it came down, your $10, fine. Third thing, this is the thing, is that most I'm the oldest person that recommends and does this. And I have modernized. You want TV ads? Hell no. You want mailers? Hell no. You want to put what you call it, send out people to canvass just blindly? Hell no. You target. Campaigns
Yeah.
now are target. Again, if I were running for Congress right now, not spending money on Republicans, not spending money on Democrats. Spend money on the independents heavily. Because if the Democrats come out and vote D, as they probably are, and the Republicans come and vote R, the people's going to decide that election is the independent. And that's where a lot of people in this map is fucked up. And the map in Texas and in Louisiana, because basically they're thinking, well, there's 5% more Republicans than Democrats. But wait a minute, there's a 30% independents
Right.
who you do not know how they're going to vote. But right now, if the numbers are correct, independents are pissed off with Trump and the Republican Party, and they're paying $5 a gallon. And trust me, they're going to let you know that. Okay, they're going to vote. So that is what I'm trying to say. Of that percentage, you get 44%. You lose. So if the Republicans get 44% and the Democrat gets 56, why? Because that's a 6% difference. And just like the last time around, this is something that you and I are supposed to understand. The party that's more excited to go out and vote and do something is not the Republicans right now. It's the Democrats. So if Democrats vote more, okay, in simple math, I'm going to even leave the independents out. Let's say that come in district, I think it's the one that Alana has, that's 1%, and 75% of the Democrats come out and vote, and 65% of the Republicans come out to vote, she wins. And that is the thing. Which is the party that's more motivated to go out to vote? It's Democrats. It is not Republicans. We know that. I mean, we could try. So the problem is that when people tell me, well, how can I predict this? Because realistically, right now, the map of Texas, the map of Florida, the map of Louisiana, for Pete's sake, 1% more Republican than Democrats? 1%? As a matter of fact, I'm going to invert it. What would you think if the Democrats preparing a map and the advantage was 1%? You would say, guys, are you that stupid? You know, I like to be fair with it. Both of you fucked up, I'll call you out. You fuck up, I'll call you out. So right now, with that in mind, let's go to the fuck ups of
All
the
right,
week.
Jimmy, let's do that.
Okay, fuck up of the weeks are redistricting national. People, there's more to redistricting than numbers. The largest political party, the amount of people who are quitting both parties, Democrats and Republicans, are NPAs. Oh, but no, they're NPAs. They have no party affiliation. They voted Biden in, they voted him out. Simple as that. We all know it was the nonpartisan people. Right now, you have thought that you have created a beautiful map, just like you create a beautiful legislation that is not that beautiful. The beautiful bill is not that beautiful, and these are not beautiful. The average difference in Florida of maps, you have 9 maps that are between 1 to 6%. And you have some up in the panhandle that are 12 to 14%. The rest are 7 till 9% advantage. When you take the independents into consideration, who will elect between a general election in November, you have to take your possibilities that you're going to lose. 1%, what was you thinking? Is this map going to go through? Maybe not. But when people think that they're going to win the House or that my numbers are wrong because the map in Texas, the map in Louisiana, and the map in Florida are going to make it impossible for the Democrats to win congressional seats, I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I'll be as blunt as I can. I'm backing Darren Soto if he runs in the current 9th district or if he runs in the new one. And I'm going to make a bold prediction he wins them. That's me. Now, let's go to the Democrat fuck up of the week. Democrat fuck up of the week is a very simple one. You need to divert from people distracting you to believe that wokes is a problem. Wokes is no more of a problem than racism is in MAGA. There's a lot of people disagree with it, but at the end of the day, it's the economy stupid. Okay? Trying to avoid people who make stupid comments or stuff like that, it's over. You should seriously consider closing down the National Party because it has no true function. House is run by the House congressional money. Senate is run by the Senate congressional money. Presidential elections are run by the candidates and their people, and they do the fundraising. And statewide, the people do it. I've never understood what the National Party does, but somehow it's like state parties that are there but don't do shit. So you might want to consider just putting all that energy into the congressional seats, into House victories in each state, into the Senate victories in each state, and let local politics be local. Here in Orange County, for the last 100 years, every candidate who's been elected mayor, who's been elected commissioner, either city or county, or school board member, has raised his or her own money and owes himself maybe to his campaign country, but not to the party. So, in that aspect, to have a party that wastes over $500,000 a year is a waste of time. And I mean, over $2 million is a waste of time and money. Right now, just let's work all local. By the way, remember this, the campaign is very simple. Are you better off than you were last year Is gas $5 a gallon? Are your eyes showing you that everything is more expensive? Are your eyes showing you that this war is going nowhere? Are your eyes showing you that there was no need to be in this war? That should be your campaign. Forget Donald Trump. He will screw it up on his own. With that, remember, your enemy is not the federal employees. Your enemy is not those who are red or those who are blue. Your enemy is the corrupt government officials who are taking money to screw you over. With that, subscribe, like, dislike, make your comments. And by the way, next week we're gonna have to get to the comments. We haven't done them for 2 weeks.
Yes. And there are some comments, Jimmy.
We have to get to them. Okay, so with that in mind, I will see you all next week. Take
Thank
care.
you, sir. Enjoy your weekend, Jimmy.
You too.
Thank you.